Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. In last session we discussed about what is directive and different kind of directives available. So in this session we are going to discuss about the most important and commonly used directive, that is ngFor. Let's start. So we have our application up and running. So I am going to change the markup of this user component. So I have already prepared some markup to save the time. So I am going to remove the entire markup and paste it, and even I am going to remove this ng class. So now if we go and see, we can see the markup like this. So we have the user and mouse over, you can see the shadow effect. So now we have only two users, but in real time applications you might have the 10 users, 100 users, even more than that. So to show the two users, currently we have mentioned app user component two times, right? So when you want to show the 10 users, for example, then in that case, you need to mention this user component 10 times, which is very tedious and not the best practice. And also the data what we are seeing is hard coded. So if you want to pass the data from the app component to user component, you need to pass the data using property binding for each component you need to pass. To overcome this problem, we have the directive called ngFor. So what is ngFor? So ngFor is a structural directive that renders a template for each item in a collection. Here the collection can be anything that is iterable, for example an array. Now I am going to remove this. Now let us see how to use ngFor and how to render the list of the users. So before we write the code for ngFor, we need to create the users. Currently I am going to hardcode the user data, but in our upcoming sessions I am going to show you how to fetch the data from the API and show it on the UI. So here I have already prepared the data, which is array of JSON. So user data is the variable, and here we have the array of JSON. So which is array of user data. So now I am going to pass this user data to the users component. Go to the app component HTML. Here we know that using property binding we can pass the data. So here I am going to use the name called users, and again this name can be anything, you can use anything, and equal to, so we need to pass the users data, which is nothing but this user data variable. So pass it like this. Now we are passing the data to the app users component from the app component. Here app users component is the child component and app component is the parent component. So whenever we are passing the data from the app component, there should be a receiver at the users component end to receive the data which is passed from the app component. So we are going to create that receiver here. So that receiver is nothing but a @input decorator. So you need to import the input decorator. This input decorator is available under the @angular slash core library. So input, and here I am going to remove this all this. Currently we are not using it, so it is not required. So input, we know that each decorator will start with the symbol, like component also one of the decorator, and after that we need to mention the particular variable name. Here we have mentioned the user component, and here we are going to mention for users, because we are going to receive the user data in the variable of users, right? So same name we need to use, so users. So I am going to use the users, and here you can see it's showing some error. So member users implicitly has an any type, so we need to mention the type of it. You can use the any, or we already know that what kind of data we are going to receive. So we are going to receive array of users data, and we know how user object is defined. So let's define array and use this like this, and then use the square brackets. And it is very simple to define the type because we are already having the array data. So just take entire thing, and here just paste it. Here instead of the value we need to mention the type of the variable, I mean type of the key. So string, and again location is type string, gender is type string, and age is number. So now it is clear, and it is showing error because we have removed it. So just to remove this set country method also we don't require, right? Now let's go and see. We have the work scene, so no problem. So now we are done with initial setup. We need to render the array of users. So for that we have to use the ngFor directive. So we know that all the structural directives start with the asterisk. So asterisk ng f should be capital equal to. So the way you define the variable in JavaScript or TypeScript, we need to define the ngFor. So like in the for loop syntax also you use, right? Like int I is equal to 0, sorry, let I equal to 0, I plus plus, like that some syntax you use, right? Same way here you need to define let. You can use any name. I am going to use the user and of. So this is the of syntax. So let user of users. So user. So this users will have the data, right? So now to check whether this user's object is empty or not, whether it is having the length, some values or not, you can just use the expression and check it. Users dot length. You can see 4. We can see that this div has been rendered 4 times because it is having the 4 values, and we have used the ngFor on the this div. So here the ngFor has rendered this div element because we have used this on the div element, and it renders the number of times that equal to the length of the collection. Here the collection is users. So far so good. Now we have the data which is hard coded. So we need to bind it. So instead of this work saying, we have to use user dot name. So we have the name property. So user dot name, and for the profession we don't have anything. So leave it as it is. And this is the labels, and this section is the values. So user dot location. Now let us go and see. You can see the actual data now. So John Smith, Viswaksen, Susma, Lalita, and you can see this even location, gender, age details also changed now. So this is how you can render the list of items using the ngFor structural directive. The ngFor will provide some exported values that are like index, even, odd, first, last, like that. So let us see. So let's say if you want to know the index of the current item, then you can use the index keyword. So index as I. So this is one of the way to define it. So here the index is the exported value provided by the ngFor, and as I is the alias. So this I is the alias for the index. So you can use again anything. I just mentioned I. Available at index I. Now let's go and see. You can see that available at index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3 is the last because we have only 4 items. And same way you can you can know that whether the current item is the first item in the collection or last item in the collection. So again we can use first as F, right? So is first. So this one here, if the current item is the first item, then it will return the true, otherwise it will return the false. So let's say let us use F. You can see that now is first true, is first false, again false, false, false for all other items. So these exported values like first, last, odd, even, these are very useful. Like sometimes you don't want to add border to the last item in the table. So in that case, you can use the last. So if it is last, don't apply the border bottom. Otherwise, apply it. So like that you can use. So even you can access the last exported value. So last as L, you can use name and just give L. So like this you can use the exported values. So let us see some other exported value like even. Now I'll show you another way of assigning the value. So here we mentioned everything like index as I, first as F, like that, right? You can even mention, let's say, let E equal to even. So even you can define like this also, not just first as F, last as I. Even you can use this syntax, let E equal to even. And here I would like to assign alternative background colors. So for that, let's say ng style I am going to use. Let me break it. So if it is E means if E is true. If E is true means if it is even, then use the some X background color, otherwise use some other background color. So here I am going to use, say, background, and if it is not even, then use the default color whatever we are having, that is FFF. Let's go and see now. So you can see that. So this kind of pink color is applied. If it is even, for all the even rows, this pink color is applied now. Otherwise, it is having the white color. So this is how these exported values are useful. So depends on your requirement, you can use them. So now let us see how change propagation will work. So when the contents of the iterator changes, ngFor makes the corresponding changes to the DOM. So when an item is added, a new instance of the template is added to the DOM. When an item is removed, its template instance is removed from the DOM. So now let us see how to add and remove the items. So here I am going to add one button. So button, so button like delete user, and I am going to add some bootstrap classes. That's it. Now let's go and see. We have the delete user, delete user, delete user, right? So this should be button primary. Yeah. So I would like to delete the user whenever delete user is clicked. So there are two ways of deleting the user. One is deleting the user from the app component user data, because we have passed this user data. So this is the data that we pass to the user component, or deleting the user from the user's data which is received from the parent component, which is app component. So for now I am going to delete in the user component, because we have to delete the user from the app component, we should know about event emitter, that I am going to discuss in our upcoming sessions. That's why now I am going to delete it from the users component. So I'm going to add one method here, delete user, and this method will take the index, because we should know at what index we should delete. So index and type is number. So this dot users dot splice method we use. I hope you know that. Otherwise, please watch my video on arrays. And this splice method will take the starting number, which is nothing but the index that we pass from the markup, which is user markup, and how many number of items you would like to delete. So one item. So we are going to call this delete user from the users component markup. So which is nothing but this one. So here we need to add the event. So we know that using these parentheses we will add the event. So event name is click equal to delete user, and we need to pass the index. Here we have defined index as I. So this index is the exported value provided by the ngFor. So now let's go and delete it. We can see that its work say has been deleted. Same way, deleted, refresh. And now let us open the F12 and let us see how it is being removed from the DOM, right? So let me use like this. So you can see that here we have the all the user components, right? So here we have the user component, user. So four users we have here. So what I'm going to do, this is the first one, right? You observe this part. So I am going to delete the John Smith. So when I click on the remove the John Smith, you can see that it is being reflected here, and I am going to delete the Susma. You can see that it has been removed from the DOM. Same way Lalita, it has been removed from the DOM. And now you can see that, so again it has been removed, and now we don't have anything. Just refresh. So this way, whenever you delete any item from the collection, so here the collection is nothing but the users array. The ngFor will take care of removing its element from the DOM. The same way, whenever you add any item to this users array, the ngFor will take care of rendering the newly added item to the DOM. So you don't need to do anything, or you don't need to call any method. So now let us go and see that also. So what I do here, I'm going to add one button here. Let's say button add user. So here I'm going to add one method called add user. So click equal to add user. So we have to define this add user in the user component.ts, right? So just define it like this. And here I'm going to hard code the, so here I am going to push one user, and which is hard coded. So just this dot users dot push, and we know that we need to push the object, user object. So let's go and copy paste it. Now I am hard coding, but whenever we are discussing about the forms, that time I will show you how to receive the user input and how to add it to the users. So now we have name, so instead of that let add it. So now let us go and see how it works. So here when you click on the add user, we are going to call this method, and this add user will take care of pushing this user object to the users array. That's all we are doing. So we are not calling ngFor anywhere to render it. So add user, let me add the CSS class for this class button. So now let's not worry about this markup. I will make it beautiful in our upcoming sessions. So click on the add user. Now you can see Fleming is added. Click again. So Fleming is again added. So now let me delete few. Okay, now open the markup. Now just expand it. Now we have, one, two, three. Now you observe it, whenever you click on the add user, the ngFor will add the new item. So so each time I click on the add user, the ngFor will take care of adding the new item to the DOM. So